Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this Submissions Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on the 14th of October 2025. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this Council's decisions to be those who contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I would like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders past and present, and welcome any descendants here today. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed, with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of information they share at the meeting, including any personal and/or sensitive information. I note that all 7 councillors are present. There are no apologies. Move on to the confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the Submissions Committee meeting held on the 16th of September 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Potter. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell. Councillor Potter doesn't have to speak on this. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramms, carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. Declarations of interest. Are there any? No declarations of interest. We'll now move on to the verbal submissions from submitters. Council appreciates the community submissions on today's agenda item and values the effort put into both written and in-personal contributions. Councillors review all submissions thoroughly and find them very useful. Today, Council can restate or highlight parts of their submissions. I'll now read the names of registered speakers. Please raise your hand when your name is called. Elizabeth Ryan, thank you. Lynn Russell, thank you. Luke Watts, thank you. Please note that this committee will hear submissions today, but no decisions will be made at this meeting. A decision on the matters will be made at later meetings. We'll now move on to items on the agenda. Item 5.1, submissions to the draft governance rules. We have one person requested to speak to their submission. I invite Elizabeth Ryan to address the committee. Thank you. You have 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about the governance rules. My first suggestion would be that we actually have visible to the gallery is the clock, that we actually have the 5 minutes timed on, because that's not where available. And it'd be fantastic if we could have some tables down the back as well, please. I know that's not, but it's just a helpful thing. I talked about extending the length of time for the notice of meeting rather than 48 hours to go to 96. I talked about extra days for the documentation that Council has, because it's really, really hard to get through 1,000-page documents that sometimes the Council produces as agendas. Not a bit of light reading for the weekend. The question time, I suggested that should be allocated to a minimum of 30 minutes, and further allocated time should be proportional to the number of items on the agenda, the number of community members in attendance at the meeting. The Council should be willing to be flexible with time allocated to question time and acknowledge its significance in true democracy and community consultation. That the Council is transparent how question time will be handled at each meeting. The suggestion about a time limit of 3 minutes. My response was that time limits should be flexible and allow for both presentations, by types of presentations by community members. Council should ensure that community members are aware of the different ways that a presentation or question time can be presented to Council, e.g. in a slideshow. That's only something I've learned in coming to recent meetings. The confirmation of minutes extend the time as well, extend the form and the availability of the minutes, the actual access to the public. That's a really big issue, that we can't all get to Colac on a Friday if it's at the front desk, or I live out of Birregurra, but for people who only travel in one day a week into Colac or whatever, which can get to the bay. There just needs to be more options available, maybe at Forest, BAC. If not everybody has access or can use a computer, and that's where that suggestion's coming from. I would also like to stress in behaviour of 56, there was no mention of how council will treat the gallery. And I think that should be formalised as well. And that council and its officers will support the public in addressing the meeting with guidance on how the meeting process works and the provision of information about behaviour, question time as soon as possible prior to the public addressing the council. It's like knowing the game rules for netball before we actually get there, that we're going to have 7-a-side and it's going to be an exercise court and the length of time of play. It's still just fundamentals that we should all be aware of. It's really hard to play a game if you're not aware of the rules. And I'd just like to, my other concern was about the format, that we actually don't have a style guide for the council, and it'd be really handy because I find it really difficult to read the policy documents in the current style they're in. They're always in a really lighter grey font. They don't print well. They're very busy with all the, I know it's part of the logo with the leaves and the foliage and everything else, but it takes a lot of ink when you start printing off paper to actually just read the content. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for your submission, Elizabeth. That's our only submitter for item 5.1, councillors. There's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Thank you, Councillor Hudgell.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's taken the time out to make a submission on the draft governance rules. We've had 8 really thoughtful and very detailed written submissions, and I thank Elizabeth Ryan for also being here today to speak. Governance is such an important part of what we do as a council, and the community's input has helped shape how we operate as a council, and it's been greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Howard is the seconder.
Yes, I support Councillor Hudgell's comments and thank Elizabeth Ryan for coming to speak to us today. I know she's a very busy woman, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Okay, councillors, we have a motion before us. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm, carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move on to item 5.2, submissions of the Community Achievement Awards. We have 2 people that have requested to speak to their submission. I'll invite Elizabeth Ryan back to speak. Thank you. And again, 5 minutes. Thanks.
You'll be shocked, it'll be brief. I'm concerned about the new titles, that they are ambiguous. We need consistency across Australia, and it's really important that they be retained as Citizen of the Year, Young Citizen of the Year, and the Event of the Year, and an optional Community Leadership Award. And I do just want to I know I stirred this pot up, and we just wanted to note that the submission time that was decided by council would be for a 4-week period, not 6 as noted in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'll invite Lynn Russell to address the committee. And again, 5 minutes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor and councillors, and thank you for the opportunity to submit to this. This is a bit of a passion of mine. And first of all, on the first page of my submission, I did make a boo-boo. On the first dot point, it is they no longer presented at the Colac Otway Shire Australia's Day celebrations. I looked at this and talked to quite a few people in the community, and my first question is, why do they need revitalising? There's lots of issues out there in the community, and because of COVID and all the changes, no longer having an Australia Day, they moved to Kana. It was in the mornings. Then they went to Volunteers Week, and in Volunteers Week, held in the foyer. No chairs for people to sit down, and it was in the evening. The food was presented first, and by the time the presentations were done, a lot of people were going home because they had children at school the next day, which doesn't make for people a good community event. There's also lots of problems with the application process. Nowhere in Australia can I find any community award where the person has to agree to it. Even the Australian of the Year does not have to sign to agree to be nominated. So why do we do it in the Colac Otway Shire? And from talking to people, if they knew they were being nominated and had to sign on it, most people's reaction was, I'm not worthy, oh no, it's not for me. Yet when you do the history of that person and you present it, they are more than worthy. So one of the things that causes people not to nominate is having to sign their life away as they see it, to start with. There's been a lack of councillor and council support in previous officers, which are no longer here. And I know that with our new officer that I've met with, who's very, very enthusiastic, Heidi will bring a new breath of fresh air to the role. There's a couple of contradictions in the report. The Community Achievement Awards are in need of revitalising to ensure they continue to be a meaningful civic tradition, and yet we're trying to change tradition. We already have some awards for businesses, and on Saturday night we had a fantastic awards night. Sorry, Mr Mayor, you were the only person missing on the night, and there should have been a speech from the council supporting the local businesses on what they had achieved. It would have been an ideal promotion opportunity. There's also already Sportsmen's Awards, and the committee that does that present them each month. So let's get the focus away from sport and go back to community, because legend and rising star are sporting terms. They're not a community term. I'm one of these people that like to do my research, and you've got a copy of the councils in Victoria, and the 79 councils, I did 68, and after that I gave up because I couldn't find a rising star or a legend. Of all the communities in Victoria, if you have a look at them, 97% have a Citizen of the Year, 97% have a Junior or Young Citizen of the Year, and 93% have a community event. We have some fantastic community events in Colac. Christmas by the Lake, the Let's Talk that we've just had, the Colac Agricultural Show, support for the farmers events that we've had this year, fantastic. Anzac Days.
You've got 1 minute, thanks.
That's all right. Candles by Candlelight, candles at Apollo Bay foreshore. These are events and we need to encourage people to do them, and this is one of the categories, if we have a extra category, that should be there. So I would prefer Citizen of the Year, Young Citizen of the Year, Event of the Year, and if we need to have a fourth one, a Community Leadership or Community Services Award. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Lynn. That concludes our submitters for item 5.2. There's an officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Hudgell is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, once again, we had a couple of great submissions come through on this one, and just want to thank everyone who's contributed feedback that will help us make these awards something that truly connects and celebrates our community. And just a special mention to Lynn Russell for being here today to speak to us in person. Thanks for your time, Lynn.
Thank you, Councillor McCrickard. No? Any other councillor? No? Just for the record, I would have loved to have spoken at the Business Awards, but I was not invited to speak, which was unfortunate. Right a reply? No? Thanks. We have a motion before us now, councillors. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dude, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm is carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move on to item 5.3, submissions to planning permit 130-2025-1, 7 Lang Street, Beac. We have one person that wants to speak to the submission. Now invite Luke Watts to make an address. Thanks, mate. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm Luke Watts, and together with my partner Brooke, we own 7 Lang Street, Beac. Brooke was born and raised in Simpson, only about 35 minutes from Beac, where she lived on a small farm, which has given her a wealth of knowledge about the agricultural industry. I was born and raised in Beac, along with my family, where you'll find most of them still live in the town today. I was a big part of the community, where I volunteered at the local CFA and worked for a local company for 7 years. It wasn't until recently I moved from Beac after 27 years due to work commitments, and to say I've missed it would be an understatement. The people, the atmosphere and the peace and quiet, just to name a few. My partner and I have a true passion for animals and the land, and is why we feel the need to put a house on our block and be close to them. Words can't describe what it would mean to us, not only to be on the land with our cattle, but to also be able to call Beac home again, and hopefully someday our kids will have the great upbringing that I did in Beac. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for the submission. Thanks, councillors. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as the motion? Councillor McCrickard, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, as the mover, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Luke, for taking the time today to come forward. It's not an easy thing to do, and your passion for Beac is outstanding, and you come from a family of Beac residents that have contributed a lot to the community out of Beac, and I'm sure you would be no different. And so thank you, Luke, for your time today, and I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Howard as the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, thanks, Luke, for coming. It's fantastic that people do come and talk at these submissions, hearings, because it does help council in their deliberations. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Thanks to Luke, and thanks to Elizabeth and Lynn across all the submissions for turning up and speaking today. And I'd like to thank everyone that put in a written submission to all of them. I'll just speak at the end rather than saying it in everyone. So thank you to all our submitters and for taking a keen interest in council. Right, a reply, Mick. Good. No, we have a motion before us. Thanks, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. That concludes the submission committee meeting at the Colac Otway Shire. I declare this meeting closed at 3:18 p.m. Thank you, everyone.